see how this goes.
Move that up a bit. Alright, here we go. It's gonna be a train wreck, I can already tell. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacob. This is my wrestling channel. Thank you for coming. All Out 2021 AEW live from Chicago, headlined by the Chick Magnet, the Cookie Monster, the Pepsi Man, CM Punk. He is back in wrestling. It is very exciting. I am very happy to see it. It should be good. The card overall, I've seen people kind of criticize it a bit, saying it's a little meh. And I think overall it looks fine, but it's clear as day that CM Punk and his match with Darby Allin is the clear headliner for the show. It is the match that has the most interest, the most intrigue. Everybody's excited about it. Chicago's going to go crazy. Nothing on that show is going to be higher than CM Punk. Nothing. And that's just the reality. Even the Kenny Omega Christian match, nothing. So what I wanted to do, I just want to give my predictions. As I'm recording this, it is Friday, August 27th. So it's about a week out. So what I have here is pretty much the full card. At least as of now, I believe it is. The only thing that's not confirmed right now is the tag team match. Who's facing the Young Bucks? Lucha Bros or Jurassic Express. But I think everything that I have right now should be pretty standard. Should be pretty basic for the card, or final, I guess. So yeah, let's get into it. By the way, I just want to stress this is my first video. If I'm awkward, I apologize. If there's any audio issues, I apologize. I got a fan right there. I have a fan back there. If any of that noise picks up, I apologize. We're winging it. We're basically winging it. I'm a little, it's a little awkward right now. It's a little weird for me, so I apologize. I mostly just do guitar covers on this channel. If you check them out, thank you. If you stumble upon this video, feel free to check them out. Thank you. Alright, let's get into it. Starting out is the Women's Casino Battle Royale. Should be on the buy-in. It should be pretty standard, straightforward for their Casino Battle Royales. AEW, I still feel like hasn't necessarily perfected them quite yet. They're usually kind of messy. I believe there's the one that Winter is Coming that I like the most. I think it was like the Diamond Battle Royale, the Diamond Dozen, whatever, the MJF's ring, whatever that Battle Royale was, whatever it was called. I think that one was probably my favorite. But anyway, I think this one should be pretty straightforward. Who wins it? I'm going with the Joker. And who I think the Joker is, I believe it will be Ruby Soho, the former Ruby Riott, making her AEW debut. I think it just makes sense. I think all signs point to her showing up in AEW. All the rumors and speculation. I think it'd be very cool. I think she'd be a big boost to their division. If not Ruby Soho, I mean, I do believe she's going to be the Joker in that. If she doesn't win, maybe Tay Conti. Maybe someone like her. I don't see Thunder Rosa winning that just yet, just because I believe that match is going to be saved for a later date. Maybe like Revolution, or I guess Double or Nothing of next year. Only because I see Britt Baker having a pretty long title reign, and I don't see whoever wins this Battle Royal beating Britt Baker. So, yeah. I'm going with Ruby Soho to win. I think it makes sense. I think she's the Joker. I think that would be a very good match. And I think Ruby Soho should make a great boost to that division. So yeah. Alright, next match. We got the AEW World title. It is Kenny Omega versus Christian. I'm excited for this match, I gotta say. I really enjoyed their match at Rampage. I thought that was a very fun match. At first, I wasn't very interested. I thought it was weak. Christian hasn't necessarily found his footing in AEW. Or at least, like, the way he was brought in from Revolution. It was very disappointing by the way he was brought in. Quick water. I was just saying, all the overhype, with Tony Khan promising a big announcement, and it was just Christian Cage. Everybody was expecting, CM Punk, it's gonna be Brock Lesnar. So yeah, and I think that ever since that Revolution show, Christian hasn't necessarily found his footing. But I think everything here, I think this match, what am I trying to say? But I think everything that they've done so far with this match has been good enough to warrant my interest. The match that they had at Rampage where Christian won the Impact World title, it was a nice moment. And I think it added a little bit of intrigue into the match that wasn't really there. Everybody wanted Hangman. I'm sure that was the plan for All Out at some point, to have Hangman be in the main event. Obviously things changed. Obviously CM Punk is on the show. Nothing is taking away from CM Punk. So just having Hangman be in the main event for his crowning moment, it would just be overshadowed. CM Punk would overshadow that big time. And you don't necessarily want to do that for Hangman. You want to save a pay-per-view for his big moment, where he wins the world title. I will assume at Full Gear. You could even do it at Arthur Ashe Stadium whenever it is that he comes back. But yeah, I think this is a solid match enough, especially with Christian winning the Impact title. I do think Kenny Omega's going to win. Obviously, he's not losing the world title. But I will say, I do believe that they will do a title versus title stipulation. I think it makes sense. I don't see Christian necessarily staying Impact champion for long, especially with this whole belt collector gimmick that Kenny's doing. You know, he has the AAA title. I believe he has the AAA title right now. Yeah, because I think Christian had retired the TNA title, I should say, on Impact. I don't really watch Impact, but I believe he retired the TNA title. So I think it just makes sense to do a title versus title stipulation. If you just leave it for the AEW title, I mean, nobody in their right mind believes that Christian's winning. So it only makes sense to do the title versus title stipulation. Give Kenny back the Impact title. Then he can lose it to somebody on Impact, maybe a Josh Alexander, maybe a Moose, something like that. It makes sense. But yeah, I think it should be a good match. I really enjoyed their match at Rampage. I can only assume this match will be much better. But yeah, going with Kenny Omega. Alright, next match we got here is Pac versus Andrade. I think this has potential to be a show stealer. I am very excited for this match. I'm excited for Andrade, and AEW hasn't done much, but I think this will be the match that'll finally put him on the map. Will finally be his breakout match. I believe he's only had one match, right? Yeah, it was against Matt Sydal. And most of the time just been hanging around backstage with Chavo Guerrero. Although I will say I do enjoy the pairing with Chavo. But yeah, I think this match has potential to be a show stealer. Pac is fantastic. No, I wouldn't say underutilized. I wouldn't necessarily say underutilized, but I do believe that there's just so much on the top of the card right now that he's sort of just kind of fizzled out a little bit. He's kind of hanging out with the Death Triangle. But yeah, he's so great, and Andrade is great too. So I think this has potential to be a fantastic match. I would actually open the show with this match. I think it'll be just such a great opener to get the crowd riled up. The Chicago crowd's going crazy. I think it would be great. I'm going with Andrade, especially because of the whole story that they got right now with Pac or Death Triangle. How Andrade's like, you can't, you'll never be champions, or the Lucha Bros will never be champions if you work for Pac. Andrade's gonna beat Pac, and I do think it'll tie into the Young Bucks match, which I'll get into later. I just think everything will tie in. Maybe we see a turn from the Lucha Bros onto Pac. Andrade wins. Lucha Bros join Andrade. Yeah, there's that. Alright, speaking of which, we got the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros. In a steel cage stipulation. Well, actually, I say Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros, but like I said, as of right now, it's Friday. Rampage hasn't started yet, 1:48 p.m. here on the East Coast. Rampage hasn't been on. It's Jurassic Express versus Lucha Bros right now. I do believe that the Lucha Bros are winning. I should say that. I have Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks right here. I do believe that the Lucha Bros are going to win. I think this match has potential, once again, to be another show stealer, more so than the Pac and Andrade match. The Young Bucks are absolute must-see on a pay-per-view. Every single pay-per-view that they are on, they almost always have the best match, or one of the best matches. I still remain to this day that the Kenny Omega and Hangman Page match, no, the Kenny Omega Hangman Page versus Young Bucks at Revolution 2020 is one of my favorite tag team matches ever. I mean, period. It really is. Just an incredible tag team match, and every other match that they've had after has just been great. I really enjoyed the one at Double or Nothing with Moxley and Kingston. Just great stuff from the Young Bucks all around. And this one with a steel cage stipulation. I mean, you put the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks in a steel cage. I mean, just the carnage that can ensue. It's going to be a barn burner. It's just going to be fantastic. But yes, I do see the Lucha Bros beating the Jurassic Express on Rampage. Lucha Bros go to All Out. The Young Bucks will win. I do not see the Lucha Bros winning the tag titles, although I wouldn't necessarily be against that. I do think it's been long overdue for the Lucha Bros. But I don't think it's going to happen here. I think the Young Bucks retain. I think the match will be spectacular. And we do see a turn, whether it's at All Out, whether it's on the Dynamite after. The Lucha Bros turn on Pac. We get this, we get the Lucha Bros joining Andrade, and it'll be fantastic. I think Andrade with the Lucha Bros has potential to be amazing. It really has. With Chavo's their mouthpiece, it could be great. Alright, next up, what's not so great? We got Paul White versus QT Marshall. Who gives a shit about this match? Does anybody? Does anybody give a shit about this match? Is there somebody out there? You? If you do, great, but I don't. Definitely not me. Look, I don't necessarily have a problem with Paul White wrestling on AEW television. I mean, look, he was going to wrestle regardless. It's in his contract. He wasn't just going to be reduced to commentary on Elevation. It's fine. I think if you bring him out for these one-time pay-per-view matches or big shows, no pun intended, these big Dynamite shows, I think it's fine. I just cannot bother to care about QT Marshall. I mean, like I said, does anybody care about QT Marshall? Does anybody care about the factory? Does anybody care about what's going on here? Look, all I'll say is, this match should be quick and painless. Paul White wins. I'm going for a 2-minute squash. I think that'll be perfectly fine. Quick, painless. Chicago crowd will probably eat it up. They'll go crazy for it. Maybe not if it's like 10 minutes. If it's more than 10 minutes, I swear, I will do some massive complaining on Twitter. That's what I'll do. And it'll be unlike anything you'll ever see. So, yes. Quick squash, Paul White wins. That's that. Nobody cares. Alright, next match, we got Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's title. I think this should be good. Britt Baker is fantastic in every sense of the word. Promos are fantastic. In-ring has gotten a lot better. Chris Statlander, I'm a big fan of. I think ever since she's gotten back from injury, she's definitely gotten a little more confident in the ring, I've noticed. She's gotten a lot better. She looks fantastic. She's definitely gotten in better shape. I'm anticipating this match to be pretty good. I think the outcome is easy. Britt Baker wins. Match should be good. Yeah, I think that's it. Britt Baker wins. DMD. Alright, next match we got here is Chris Jericho versus MJF, the final fight. I will say it's weird that this match is also on All Out while we just had the match on the last week's Dynamite during the 5 Labors of Jericho storyline. And especially because MJF won clean. I was a little perplexed that they did that match so early on that Dynamite. I was like, oh, okay, maybe they're not doing it at All Out. And now here they are doing it at All Out, and I just find it a little weird. Although I will say it does have the stipulation of Jericho loses, he'll retire from full-time in-ring competition for AEW, be a full-time commentator on Rampage. I know everybody's shitting on his commentary on Rampage, but I actually think it's alright. I do think he needs to kind of tone down the yelling a little bit. Maybe it's just because I'm kind of over Jim Ross's subpar commentary. The lack of excitement, all that stuff. It's just nice to have somebody who actually sounds excited, even if it is a little forced. But anyway. So yeah, I do think it's a little weird that we're having this match. I would say MJF wins, I would say that it's probably going to end up with Jericho winning. I wouldn't necessarily do that. I think the story of having MJF being the one to beat Jericho. Oh, sorry, I should say. I think the story of being the one I think the story of MJF beating. I'm losing my mind here. I'm sorry. I think the story of Jericho losing. As you can see, I am losing my mind. I think the story of MJF continuously beating Jericho never getting the upper hand on MJF being the one to always beat Jericho just makes sense. I think that puts over MJF spectacular. Jericho getting one win over MJF's 3 wins isn't bad. I just think it makes for a better story for for MJF to be the one to always beat Jericho at every step of the way. And so that's what I would do personally. I would have MJF win. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think Jericho wins. We'll see. Maybe they do. Maybe they do have MJF win, and Jericho kind of takes a step away from in-ring. I don't know. We'll see. All right, the next match we got Jon Moxley facing New Japan's Satoshi Kojima. I think this should be pretty cool. I was expecting more. Clearly, that didn't happen. I know everybody was expecting Tanahashi. Another water break. Sorry. Yes, everybody was expecting Tanahashi when he won the IWGP United States title. I was expecting Tanahashi. Clearly, things changed. He's back in Tokyo. I believe so. New Japan has just been ravaged by COVID and restrictions and travel issues. It's a mess over there, and it sucks. It really does suck that we can't see some of these bigger names like Okada, Ibushi, Shingo Takagi make their way over to New Japan. But I do think it will happen eventually. So clearly this match was not the original plan. I do believe that Tanahashi was the plan originally. But yeah, I think this should be a good match. I don't know much about Satoshi Kojima. I haven't seen enough of his matches to really gauge, what he can do. I do know that he was the first IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So yeah, I mean, Moxley, I enjoy Moxley in the ring always. His promos are fantastic. My favorite wrestler of the year last year was Jon Moxley. Just everything he did with the AEW title was incredible. Especially during the pandemic era, he really helped carry AEW on his back, and I have full appreciation for what he's done with the company. It is weird that he's kind of just floating around right now. I don't know what he necessarily does after this. But we'll see. Jon Moxley wins. I think that's self-explanatory. Excuse me. Sorry, I got a little funny there. I think that's self-explanatory. Jon Moxley wins. We'll see what he does after that. Should be good. All right, we got the main event, or what I hope to be the main event: CM Punk versus Darby Allin. Like I said, I do believe this should be the main event. Nothing will be hotter than this match. CM Punk's first wrestling match in 7 years in Chicago at an AEW pay-per-view against one of the biggest babyfaces in all of wrestling right now, in my opinion. AEW's top homegrown star, Darby Allin. I think this match should be great. I am very much looking forward to this match. I'm a huge fan of Darby Allin. It's going to be interesting to see what CM Punk can do after 7 years. There's reports that he is ring ready and he looks like he hasn't missed a step. I think he looks fantastic when he cut his promo on Rampage. I think he looks great. He looks healthy. He looks just as healthy as ever. So I'm very much looking forward to this match. I think it should be great. I think it should be a lot of fun. Darby Allin, he doesn't mess around. He doesn't necessarily mess around in the ring, especially those dives, and he really nails people. And it should be interesting to see the clash of styles because CM Punk, he wasn't necessarily the flashiest wrestler, and Darby Allin is, he's definitely reckless in a good way, in his own special way. I think this is the perfect first match for CM Punk. I would not be surprised at all if CM Punk actually handpicked Darby Allin as his first opponent here. Because I do believe there was like an interview a while ago where CM Punk said if he were to come back, he'd wrestle. I believe it was Darby Allin. I believe Ricky Starks was on there. I believe Brian Pillman Jr. was on there as well. So yeah, I think this match should be a great match for him. It's my third water break. I apologize. But yeah, I do believe that CM Punk. I do believe that this should be a great match. CM Punk wins, obviously. Darby Allin loses absolutely nothing. He loses absolutely nothing from this match. If anything, I think this will make him even more of a star. It's the biggest match in his career. Yeah, CM Punk wins. GTS, crowd goes crazy. Should be great. I'm very much looking forward to it. Alright guys, and that is it. That is the AEW All Out prediction show. It should be a solid show. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to it too. Hopefully this video was good. Be sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed. Again, I apologize. This video was very awkward. It's very awkward for me. But yeah, take care.